Okay, so this edition of the Real Talk with Elliott series is going to be a little bit different. Most of the time, I'm answering questions and sharing with you tips and guidance and feedback that will help you hopefully live a better life. But today, I want to talk to you about the power of words and something that happened this week that has been incredibly touching. So in my field, I've gone through a really kind of triggering racial experience. I shared a video about it. You can see it on my website, YouTube, and whatever. I'm not going to go too much into the video. It was a really hard video to share and a really vulnerable experience, and I didn't know how the world was going to respond. But that wasn't the point of the video. Like, I needed to say my truth, and I needed to state it. And I want to talk to you today about the power of words, because what has happened has been so touching. I spent a lot of this day like emotional, just reading people's replies, and I want to share with you some people's responses to this video and how touching they are. One person wrote, hi Elliott, I listened to your video on Facebook and holy shit, just wow. I'm so sorry that all this has transpired. I'm ashamed at how ridiculous people that serve in helping professions engage with their profession and treat their colleagues. I feel like you need to write about resilience among racism in the field of counseling. Your voice is powerful, keep using it, people listen, sending love and light from KB. Another person wrote, thank you for sharing and being a voice for those of us just beginning in this field. This came from Keisha L. White. These messages are very touching to me because I get messages from people of color weekly, like literally a dozen per week, of saying like, keep doing what you're doing. Nobody else in the field looks like us, is doing what you're doing and writing books and giving lectures and being a voice, which is why I felt it was important to share this video. Elliott, as an African-American woman, I have to say that I'm extremely proud of you. As I viewed this video, I could relate to so many of the experiences you have had in this field. I am so glad you are using your voice and platform to address racism as it exists in 2022. I agree that unfortunately, many Caucasian women have allowed themselves to be used by this racist system to unjustly accuse strong African-American professional men of mistreating them when they are called out on their racist behavior disguised as feminism. Yes, there is a Me Too movement, but it was not designed for white women to weaponize feminism against Black men. True. I say this because this appears to be what Sarah is doing, and it is a disservice to all women, especially those who are, sorry, I'm getting old, I can't really read, who are indeed being mistreated because they are a woman. This type of Karen behavior has got to stop, especially in the field of mental health. So Elliott, I salute you. I applaud your boldness, passion, and transparency in standing up for what is right, just and fair. Continue the good fight, and may God continue to bless all you do. Rachel Phillips. That means the world to me. I do what I do as an advocate for people of color, and I agree, like I would consider myself a strong feminist. I have done lots in my small way to do what I can to help women and women's rights. But when you weaponize your feminism against a strong Black man, we have a problem, and that is why it was important for me to speak up. Hi, Elliott. I have just watched what I found a very powerful and emotional talk. I think you are very brave and articulated what happened very well. I appreciate what you have and are doing for the solution-focused world. I doubt Sarah will take you up on your offer, which is naturally out of your control. I made an offer that I'm willing to talk to Sarah, even publicly if she wants, in my video, and he's saying he doubts she will, me as well. It's sad that in 2022, all that has happened in the world, that racism still raises its unfortunate head. Take care, Elliott. Chris. Cherie R. Evans writes, wow, I just watched the video and it's in its entirety, which I appreciate. It's 51 minutes long. I've never made a video that long. And when we started making it, I had no idea it would end up being that long, but I wanted to do this issue justice. And she said, I applaud you. I appreciate you. I will continue to root for you. Thank you, Cherie. One day, I want to be as comfortable as you are with SFBT Hopefully, Sarah is open to speaking with you. I'm only reading these verbatim. I don't support using words like Karen. I did not insult Sarah, not only in my video, but ever. But I'm reading these videos, these words verbatim. Catherine McDonald writes, really powerful. Your words, this is what racism looks like today, deeply resonated with me. Thank you for speaking out. Which is true. Racism evolves over time. Like there was once a time racism looked like holding black people in captivity through slavery. There was another time advocating for black people to sit in the back of buses. And in today's world, this is what racism looks like. Veiled attacks that look as though they might be about something, but you can see the pattern and you can see it clearly that it's driven by race. David Riggs writes, thanks for sharing, Elliott. I haven't been able to watch anything else this month. I released a lot of videos, but I watched this one. This must hurt very deeply. You know, David, I really appreciate you saying that, because at the root of racism and discrimination is dehumanization. And there's nothing more hurtful than being dehumanized. What courage you have to be honest and open. Wow. I don't know what the solution focus is. It's an approach to psychotherapy, those of you out there who don't know. But I'm super glad you've created your own independent brand success following and influence. I love watching your videos and your big heart. Though I haven't met you yet, I'm sure we'll have a very warm conversation when we do. David, I sure hope so. Take care from Australia. David, take care from Texas. Michelle Parks writes, thank you. Keep on doing what you're supposed to do. Bless you. I'm praying for your continued success and your purpose for SFBT. Michelle, thank you. I mean, that means the world to me, because all I want to do is promote this approach, because I think it's a beautifully eloquent way to conduct the job of psychotherapy and increase diversity and representation, because I think it's good for the field and good for the clients seeking services. So thank you for your prayers and blessings. Linda Flagg writes, I appreciate you and your realness. You know, Linda, one of the things that I've had to learn over time is me being real, me being authentic. It's the only way that I can show up and do this job. So this is from Thomas Hirschman, who's a really good friend. I really love Thomas. We met at a training in England, I think was the first time we met years and years and years ago, and have stayed in contact, seen him at events, mostly electronically in the past few years. And Thomas writes, Elliott, I was very sad watching your video. Thank you, Thomas. I think sad is an appropriate response, that we have to deal with these things. It is shocking how much racism is still a poison in our world. I'm also shocked which kind of experiences you had to go through. You are the last one to deserve that. Thank you, Thomas. You can be sure I'll keep being an Elliott man through and through. I am so happy to be a part of the wonderful SFU community where racism is an unknown thing. The SFU community is my online community that I started building once the status quo of our field about a decade ago made it very clear that I was not welcome. Another person that I really, really appreciate, that I've gotten to know over the years, mostly digitally, is a woman named Dorothea Reed, who writes, I've watched your video, Elliott. Thank you for sharing. I feel we need I am Spartacus moment. You know the scene in that old movie, Spartacus, when the one where everyone shows their unity and solidarity and they stand and saying, I am Spartacus. I do know the scene. I can't know what your experience is like, Elliott, but I stand by your side and I say, I stand with you, Elliott Connie. You know, Dorothea highlights something really important, is we can't know people's experiences. You don't know what it's like to be me in this skin dealing with this. So that means we just have to listen to people, and we have to understand, we have to listen with compassion and understand that that's their experience, and it's matter, and it's meaningful, and it matters. And I really appreciate Dorothea for highlighting that. Melanie Tomato says, I've just watched the video emailed to me in full and applaud you for making a stand for what is right and not putting up with this racism. The world needs more people like you who are not afraid to call this out. Sending love to you, the team, for me and colleagues here in London. I love London. This is the last one I'm gonna read, and it's from my brother. It's from a man that I can't even tell you how much respect I have for. His name is Paul Hanton. He lives in New Zealand. He's originally from England, lives in New Zealand, and this is a remarkable man who wrote, "You are such a strong man, great teacher, supportive friend, and inspiration for change. Love you and your courage." Love you too, Paul. The last comment I want to make is probably the one that touched me the most today, and I can't read it because somebody called me, and it was my aunt. If you watched the video, you heard me say that I've been influenced and raised significantly by 3 really powerful, strong women. So I take offense to someone saying that I would mistreat someone as a woman. Those 3 women are my grandmother, who has passed away, my mother, and one of my aunts. That aunt called me today and said the most powerful words I could ever hear in my life. She said, "I watched that entire video. Your grandmother would be proud." That's all I care about. I needed to share their words because their words are so touching, and there are dozens more. You can go on my website, my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and you can see them. We need to use our words to do good and spread good in the world. So today, instead of addressing someone else's question, I wanted to address the situation that I find myself in, not the content of the video that I made, but the power of positive words. If you want to live a happier life, if you want to make this world a better place, share positive, happy messages. They make a difference, not just to the receiver of the words, but to you for having said them. Thank you for paying attention to this edition of Real Talk with Elliott. I'm gonna get back to answering your questions in the next video, I promise, so please send those questions. You can do that by either commenting below, send me an email, or you can even text me. I'll put all this information on the screen. You can text me to 972-426-2640. I cannot wait to make the next video for you.